One, I wanted to just highlight some things from these three sections when we're talking about chapter 23, the Aztecs. So, real quick, we're focusing on section one. We're focusing on the Valley of Mexico. All right. Um, by the time that the Aztecs arrive, we know that there was two earlier groups that had established themselves and that were strong influences on the Aztecs. All right, so from about 100 to 650 CE, the first group that was there was the Teotihuacans. Teotihuacan, that's a funny name. Their capital city was Teotihuacan, located here. They had an enormous city, a lot of large buildings. One pyramid that is still there that you can visit is called the Pyramid of the Sun. It's more than 200 feet high. It's pretty cool. Look it up. And then the Teotihuacan group collapses around 700 CE. There's another group called the Toltecs that come in from the north, and they migrate into the valley as well. And they become a powerful group. Their capital city is called Tolan. They also had a number of other cities as well. Lots of large pyramids, lots of large temples, etc. And I'm going to get back to those two groups in a moment. But they both fell around 1100s. There's new groups coming through, but their culture was really what continued to thrive through the Aztecs' reign. So now you have the Aztecs who come through. So they come through around 1250 CE. They're a nomadic group. They're hunter-gatherers. They originally actually called themselves the Mexica, right here. We know them today as the Aztecs. Their name Aztec comes from actually the word Aztlan, which they said was their original homeland. Aztlan is an island in a lake northwest of the Valley of Mexico. They leave that area and they come here, okay, around 1100. They're wandering through the desert. They're trying to establish themselves. There was a lot of strong city-states already here, so they struggled to make a name for themselves. They see that there's many different lakes. There's many different city-states. A lot of the city-states are controlling the land around the lake, so they're having trouble. This is when we see that they become mercenaries. They're also known as being crude barbarians, and the city-states around Lake Texcoco actually hires them to become mercenaries to help them fight the other city-states. So they slowly begin to establish themselves in the area, and they really are attracted to the culture, the ideas that came from the Toltecs and the Teotihuacans before them. They start to make pilgrimages to the ruins of Teotihuacan, and they even adopted the Teotihuacan's feathered serpent god called Quetzalcoatl. They adopted this god to be one of their own gods. They also, like I mentioned, were very much into the ideas and beliefs of the Toltecs. They tried to marry into the surviving Toltec royal line. They began to even claim that the Toltec ancestors were their own, which we know not to be accurate. Eventually, we start to see that there are some of the forces here at that time are moving them closer to this area called Chapultepec. And it is here where they become mercenaries for a city-state called Calhuacan. Now, this is an interesting part of the story. It's shown in the video that you guys are going to be watching this week, but they actually end up sacrificing the daughter of the chief of this city-state, and you'll see the grotesque way that they do that. But this leads to obvious war with the group. And they drive the Aztecs all the way back to a marshy island here in Lake Texcoco. So why is that important? Well, it's important because the Aztecs had always said that they will find their true home when they spot an eagle sitting on top of a cactus with a snake in its beak. That symbol you can still see today on the Mexican flag. But it is here where they say that they saw that exact bird sitting on the cactus. And they started to build their capital, their city called Tenochtitlan. The island ended up being a really good site for the Aztec city. The lake is providing fresh fish and water and food. Being on an island was easy to defend. And the way we're gonna learn more about Tenochtitlan and how it grew into one of the greatest cities of the world. So we see that they turn from mercenaries to empire builders, right? For the next 100 years, they are forming alliances with other groups, one specific group called the Tepanecs. And they are trading, they're gaining wealth, they're gaining land. They ended up rebelling against the Tepanecs later on. Itzacoatl, right here, another funny name, was an Aztec leader who joined with 2 other city-states, and this is what was known as the Triple Alliance. So this is why our vocabulary word alliance is important. In 1428, they fought and defeated the Tepanecs, who they tried to form that alliance with in the beginning, and they become a huge powerhouse in the area. So they kind of go from like rags to riches, if you think about it that way. It's even said that Itzacoatl tries to reshape Aztec history and sort of burn all the records that referred to his people's humble origins, and he tries to connect them to the Toltecs and the Teotihuacans. This right here is a temple that's located in a Teotihuacan temple that's located right outside of Teotihuacan, and it is called the Pyramid of the Moon. So it's constructed out of volcanic rock and limestone, which is pretty neat. All right, so go ahead and read that section for me and complete this part and your reading notes, and I will talk to you later.